إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه أما بعد. Then we're back with Surah al-Mulk, ayat number 3. And before we do that, we received a question in YouTube comments about Wahu al-Azizul Ghafur regarding the i'rab of this ayah. This wow here is considered isti'nafiyya or haliyya. We'll explain each of them quickly, inshallah. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. The one who created the death and life to test you which of you are best in deeds. وهو, and he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur. Wa here could be istitnafiyya, and he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur, or it could be haliyya. He's the one who created the heavens and the earth, he's the one who created life, death and life in order to test you which of you is best in deeds, while he is al-Ghafur. He did that, and his hal, his condition, his state was that he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur. When he created death and life in order to test us, which of us is best in deeds, he did that while he was al-Aziz al-Ghafur. Referring the attributes or those names and the qualities of those names back to his state of being while he created the life and death. Or it could just be continuation, and he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur, meaning more information about him. He's the one who created life and death, and he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur, or he created life and death while he is al-Aziz al-Ghafur. Not much difference, but there is a slight difference there. This is the meaning. طيب, let's go to ayat number 3. الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور. The definitions or the words here, الذي, the one who, خلق, يخلق, created, سبعة, the number 7, samawat, the plural of sama, he created the 7 heavens, tibaqa. Tibaqa meaning one above the other. Mutanasiqa. Mutanasiqa meaning well proportioned, one above the other in harmony. They're not just stacked in some type of disarray, rather they're connected and stacked one above the other in harmony. This is the meaning of tibaqa. Ma tara, ma here is a negation. Ma tara, you do not see. Tara from ra'a yara. Ma tara fi khalqi ar-Rahman, you do not see in the creation of ar-Rahman min tafawut. Right? At-tafawut here is ikhtilaf wa tabayyun, meaning disharmony and disparity, any faults. You do not see in the creation of ar-Rahman any faults, any disharmony, any disparity. Tafawut, meaning something missing, fault, fat, wow, tap, from something missing. You don't see anything missing. You don't see any harmony, a disharmony. You don't see any faults. Farji', this is a command. Farji', return. Al-basara, basically return your sight. Hal tara min futur, meaning look again. Farji', so therefore return your sight. Al-basar, your sight. Return your sight. Hal is a question. Hal tara, do you see? Min futur. Futur means shuquq was sudur, or fissures, rifts, cracks, ruptures, similar to mistakes. Do you see any disparity, any disharmony? Do you see any imperfections in the creation of Ar-Rahman? الذي خلق السبع سماوات طباقا, the one who created the 7 heavens, one above the other in perfect harmony and well proportioned. Not one is big, one is little. Sometimes you make, for example, you stack books. You put the little book on the bottom, and the bigger books they get, then the stack becomes wobbly. The heavens are not wobbly. They're not stacked in misproportion. They're well proportioned in harmony with one another. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. You do not see in the creation of Ar-Rahman any disharmony, any disparity, any faults. Farj il-basara, return your sight, look again. Hal tara min futur. Do you see any cracks? Do you see any fissures? Do you see any mistakes? Do you see any like this? This is the meaning of this ayah. Now we go to the i'rab. The i'rab of this ayah. Alladhi, as we described above, alladhi is ismu mawsul fi mahal raf na'at, in the position of being a na'at, a description, an adjective. What is it describing? Al-Aziz al-Ghafur. Al-Aziz al-Ghafur alladhi. Right? Alladhi fi mahal raf na'at. Right? Alladhi khalaqa. Or it could be a badal. Or some of the scholars say it could be a badal. It could be a substitute for huwa al-aziz al-ghafur, huwa alladhi khalaqa. It could be something in substitute. Or it could be atf bayan. All of these things, and there are other ways to look at it, but the easiest way for us to look at it, and there are this science of i'rab is not revelation, so there are differences of opinions according to the ulama. One is not necessarily wrong while the other was right. It is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes there's just a different way of looking at things. Alladhi khalaqa. Alladhi, as we already said, is mawsul, not. It's a not for Al-Aziz al-Ghafur. It's a description of Al-Aziz al-Ghafur, or it is a badal. Khalaqa is a fi'l madi, mabni al-fath. The fa'il for this fi'l is damir mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Huwa khalaqa. Sab'a, maf'ulun bihi mansoob. Maf'ulun bihi mansoob. Samawat, mudaf ilayh, majroor. مضاف إليه مجرور. طباقة. طباقة also has a number of ways that you could look at it. He created the 7 heavens. طباقة. It could be a sifa. It could be a sifa to sab'a. Therefore it's mansoob like sab'a. He created 7 heavens, one above the other, are well-formed. 7 well-formed heavens, well-proportioned heavens. Could be a sifa, or it could be the hal. How are these heavens? They are tibaqa. How are these 7 heavens? What is their hal? What is their condition? Tibaqa. Right? Therefore, mansoob, because of being hal. Or, as we said, there are people who describe it as other than that, but these 2 are the ones that are easy for us to go over here. الذي خلق سبع سماوات طباقا. Ma here is a ma of nafiya. It is negation. It is negating tara. It is negating you seeing something. Tara is a fi'l mudari marfu' wa alamat rafihi ad-damma muqaddara. Right? There should be a damma here, but because of the alif maksura, we're not able to see it. Right? Due to it being difficult to pronounce tara'u, tarayu, no, tara, right? Tara. So al-mudari marfu'. The fa'il is a damir mustatir, a hidden pronoun, taqdiruhu anta. You, do you see? You do not see. Fi khalqi, jar, harf jar, ismu majroor, because of harf jar, fi khalqi. Right? You do not see in the creation. The creation of Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, this lafz al-jalala is majroor. Why? Because it's mudaf ilayh. It is mudaf ilayh. Khalq is mudaf. الرحمن مضاف إليه. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت. This min is harf jar zaid. Right? It's like a extra harf jar. It has a meaning when you go deep into the tafsir, but this is what they call it. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن تفاوت. لا ترى تفاوتا. You do not see any disharmony in the khalq of ar-Rahman. ما ترى في خلق الرحمن تفاوتا. But because of the min, which they call harf jar zaid, then we see it being majroor. Right? Tafawut is the maf'ulun bihi. Ma tara tafawutan. Not see any disharmony. Right? You do not see any disharmony or disparity or faults. Right? Fi khalq ar-Rahman. In the creation of ar-Rahman. This is another way it could be said in the Arabic language, not in the Quran. In the Quran is how Allah said it. But here it could be said, Ma tara tafawutan fi khalq ar-Rahman. You do not see any faults in the creation of ar-Rahman. This min here is zaid. And because it is there, we do not get to see a nasb of tafawut. For tafawut is maf'ulun bihi mansub. Wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. The sign of it being mansub is a fatha, which is just considered. It's not really there. Ala akhirihi muniya min dhuhuriha. It's not permissible to see it. It's been prohibited from being seen. The fatha ishtighal biharakat harf jar, because of it being busied by this harf jar zaid. I know that's probably complicated, but this is the i'rab of it. And if people want more than that, then you have to study i'rab and sarf and all of this nahu in a deeper detail. But for those who are familiar, they'll understand it, inshallah. Farji' fa here is the ta'liliya. Therefore, giving us a reason. The ta'lil. What is the reason? Farji'. So therefore, irji' is a fil amr. Mabni ala sukun. Farji'. This kasra is only here for reading purposes. Otherwise, we have a sukun on the ayn and a sukun on the lam, and we cannot have iltiqa as-sakinain. We can't have two sukuns meeting each other. So this kasra here is there for reading purposes. Farji' fil amr mabni ala sukun. The fa'il is damir mustatir, a hidden pronoun. Wujuban. There has to be one. Taqdiruhu anta. You. Return your sight. Al-basar. Right? Al-basar is the maf'ulun bihi. Return what? Return your sight. Or return the sight. Hal. Hal is a harf istifham, a question word. Tara, just like above. Fil mudari' marfu' muniya. Right? Marfu' وعلامة رفعه الضمة مقدرة منية من ظهورها. Is prevented from seeing the dhamma, right? Is prevented from seeing the dhamma because of the alif maksura. Hal tara, do you see min tafawut? Hal, do you see min tara? The file here is the damir mustatir taqdiruhu anta, right? The file, the doer here is anta, you, it's understood in there. Min futur. Min here is again harf jar zaid, like this one. Hal tara futuran. Hal tara futuran. If we were to get rid of this, we can't do this. Is the book of Allah. But in Arabic language, for example, hal tara futuran. Do you see any cracks or fissures in the skies and the heavens? Do you see any gaps, any cracks, fissures? Right? But so futurin is maf'ulun bihi of tara, and it is mansub, but we cannot see it because of min, as we said above with tafawut. This is the Arabic grammar part, the i'rab of this ayah. So it is majroor lafdhan, just like tafawut. Majroor lafdhan, mansub halan. It's majroor in pronunciation, but it is mansub in its condition. What is it? It's really mansoob, since they're both maf'ulun bihi. طيب, the tafsir of this ayah is that Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying in the ayah before it that He is testing us, and therefore He is going to reward us and punish us because He's testing us, and to show that He's capable. For someone who might say He can't test me, He can't hold me accountable for what I did, good or bad, He can't do that, then Allah is showing you, yes, He can. He's capable over everything. He's capable of creating the seven heavens, tibaqa, one above the other in perfect harmony, right? Without any cracks or any rifts. His knowledge of our actions, what we do, and His holding us accountable in this test that He created us for, is not more. His knowledge of that is not harder or difficult than His knowledge of creating the heavens and the earth in this perfect universe. And He made no mistakes in that, without any faults, without any cracks. Likewise, He's going to make no mistakes in judging us. Likewise, He's going to make no mistakes in judging us. Just look for yourself. If you don't believe it, look at the creation of Allah. Don't just look once, look again, and you will not find any faults. You will not find any disharmony, and see if there's any there. And when you realize that there is none there, then you should realize that Allah Azza wa Jal has the ability to hold us accountable for our actions on the Day of Judgment. This is the meaning of this ayah. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll come back tomorrow with the next ayah, and we'll be back in a few minutes with the tafsir of Surah al-Sajda, ayat number 3. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.